We pick up. It's about lunchtime on the 30th of Marpineth. And Hand of Aegis has just been asked to remove themselves from the Great Green so the preparations for the Day of Deliverance can continue. Information is found out about some of the events. Eventually, you guys realize that it's not happening tomorrow, despite some belief that it could be. There are some more conversations between Silvarius and Smokey. There's a distinct lack of full disclosure on Smokey's part. Everyone checks their pockets and nothing is stolen, despite Cosette rolling a 2 on a D100. Very impressive. And then there's a trip to the Dockside Ale House in Drakesport. And the party kind of splits up into, well, the extended party, I guess, would be more accurate now, with Ted and Colas also kind of along for the ride here. So you split into sort of 3 distinct groups. Ted and Colas at the bar, talking to the barmaid. Bardoor enters through the bar door and gets drinks, including a potentate brew in a commemorative flagon. Claire tries to walk through Cosette, and Claire buys some commemorative glasses, of course. 2 of them, no less. There's some information heard about the solo combat tournament and a special weapon reward. Team Rough and Ready. I got my R&Rs confused. Team Rough and Ready notice that there's a group of people who have potentate brew in front of them, but they don't appear to be drinking it. And they mentioned something called the Calm. C-A-L-M. Because accents. And Smokey surreptitiously reads their lips and understands that there will be a meeting taking place this very night. The exact meeting place is not known, but it's believed that the meeting place can be found out at the Cup and Rat in Dark Orchard. And Smokey believes that the meeting itself would take place in Dark Orchard or West Meanderings. Again, it's unknown at this time. There's a vague, semi-coordinated leaving effort. Ted is a little tipsy. And the group head back to Dark Orchard to meet up with Captain Adard and discuss the return trip. Or I think the 3rd time, there is a halfling, pale skin, curly hair, brown, question mark, who is seen possibly watching. And finally, the HOA return to the ship. Blanca welcomes them and encourages Smokey and the rest to head below deck to speak to Captain Adard. Sun is almost setting. So that is where we pick up. We are in the port of Dark Orchard, outside the city walls, away from the prying eyes of such things as weaveworms and Drake's Guard. And the party has headed below deck, where Captain Adard is overseeing repairs. I believe Smokey headed down first. So Smokey, when you get down, you see Captain Adard looking kind of frustrated as work is being done. You see Lachlan and Nina doing some attempts at patching the remaining holes that Claire was not able to complete. What do you want to do?
So he'll ask the captain, so how are things coming along?
Yeah, we're getting there. We're not sailing tonight, that's for sure. I was hoping we'd get out in the evening tide, but there's no way. Ship took too much damage. That storm was rough. Definitely not natural. And Captain just sort of frowns and looks back at some of the holes, and there's a distinct smell in the air, very acrid, and you can see that there is a bucket of pitch that's just sort of like halfway down the hold. That is definitely where the scent is coming from. It's a thick, nasty smell in the air. I imagine your nose might be a little extra sensitive to that.
He'll kind of crinkle his nose. And he'll also ask if they could use any help.
I think as far as getting the ship taken care of, these two muppets should be fine. For now, I think you're probably free to move as you like. I mean, you're not eager to leave, right?
I have no reason to be in a hurry.
I'd say it's about this point that the others of you are sort of filing down, or everyone who was planning on filing down. Was anyone not going down? Let's try that approach instead.
I mean, I don't really feel like I need to go downstairs. I'll just stay on the top deck.
Oh, Eska's gonna stay with Butter and maybe say something when we resolve this.
Claire has no desire to see the inside of that ship again for a little while.
Fair enough.
Sylvaris probably went down because he wanted to talk to Captain Adar.
Bossy.
Okay. All right. Cosette.
I'll go down. Somebody's got to keep it.
That's fair.
Yeah, someone's got to keep an eye on Smokey too.
All right. So, for the people staying up top, so that's Claire. There you are, Claire. Bador, Eska. Are you going to the main deck where you can kind of access the downstairs? You're going quarter deck, forecastle. Who's going where, and why, and how?
I think on the way onto the ship, even like as soon as the whoever's going down goes down, Eska is just gonna casually say, I'm going to run and grab a drink. I'm a little parched. And attempt to leave. I'll be right back.
All right.
Does anybody complain? Or does she make it?
No complaints.
No.
And you said that was after the ones that went under.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'd honestly probably just step on the ship and stand really close to getting off.
Sorry, close to what?
Oh, I'd be on the ship, but like if it's like a gangplank or whatever, I would just be standing like on the ship next to that. That's
Next to the game,
yeah,
ready to get off.
Ready to
immediately.
get off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much exact same. Like hovering, like on the ship, ready to be there if like her name is called. But like as soon as the opportunity to leave and get back on ground, the better.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I don't know if you want to resolve the on-ship stuff or the off-ship stuff first.
Yeah, where does
It's
the
up to you.
camera focus?
Let's go down to the hold.
To the hold.
So that's Silverius, Cosette, Smokey. I imagine Silverius probably went first of him and Cosette.
Yeah,
Just a guess.
he's not very ladies first.
So you see Smokey talking to Captain Adard. By the time you get down there, Nina is at the interior port wall, holding some wood in place while Lachlan hammers away at something. Well, at that piece of wood. Yeah. And Adard and Smokey are just sort of in conversation.
So far as he walks up and he's looking at the repairs going on at the side of the side of the ship, and he kind of interrupts their conversation.
That certainly does not look well.
We've survived worse. I'm not a huge fan, obviously. But yeah, no, we've taken worse situations. It'll be alright.
No. That answered my question. We came upon the conclusion that we needed to stay a bit longer. By the looks of that, does not look like that will be a problem.
No, we're not getting out of here tonight. The ship's not up to it. We could leave as early as the morning tide, unless you've got business to take care of.
We do. Our stay is extended. To what extent? I am currently unsure. But as you are our transportation, I assume you would be, or should be, involved in that conversation.
Well, yeah. I mean, a ship in port ain't making any money. So, you know, we'll have to think about it. I can send over a message to Hazim. Maybe he'll be willing to cover any extra costs incurred from us staying longer. Help compensate for lost earnings. Unless you just want to take care of that now.
Howard.
Yeah, what would that cost exactly? The ballpark.
Well, you know, we're looking at 5 crew. Depending on where we were running, you'll probably get, well, it depends how long we're staying, of course. Let's say per day, probably 20 gold.
Alright, big. Well, it's early to talk figures. I'm sure we can work something.
Captain kind of smiles and says, well, just remember, there's a big hold. A lot can get moved in one go in this hold. So, every time this hold is empty, I'm not making money. I mean, I'm making a little money for transporting you folks, but, you know. There's a lot of other stuff I could be transporting that could be making me a lot more money. Is all I'm saying. But, you know, I like you folks. So, no, I'm sure we can come to an agreement.
We can discuss that later.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, either way.
Split a cost or something.
Either way, you're looking at the ship not being ready until at least the morning tide. So, no, you know, we're not going to get out of here before first light tomorrow. Absolutely not. I'm going to have to let them have a rest at some point. And you see Nina and Lachlan like physically relax a little bit. They've got a lot of sweat like pouring off, and the captain seems quite calm, quite unsweaty in the current situation. It's a little muggy down there, but I mean, it's a pretty cool day, all in all. But yeah, so we can discuss in the morning, have breakfast, and then we can figure out exactly what we want to do.
So
And go for it.
sorry, I was just gonna ask. Can you quick just description of the captain again? It's been a while. I was just like, told what is he wearing?
That is an excellent question.
And then
It's a halfling,
does
right?
he look? He's somebody who has been in this line of work for his career, or
Yeah.
Isn't the captain a she and Marker a he?
I think that's correct.
I
Yes.
thought that was.
I'm,
Although in fairness, I think in the first campaign, Adad was a he. Before we met Adad.
yes, there was a retcon there.
okay.
Yeah, there we go. I was looking on the wrong. Yes. Yeah, that's correct. Female dwarf.
Oh, dwarf.
Yep.
I've envisioned a halfling the whole time. A
Yeah.
thick halfling.
I think it was kind of the exact
Maybe-
opposite. What I was picturing. So I'm glad I asked. Okay, cool.
And then Marka is a green dragon dwarf. As a reminder. So yeah, Adad says, we can, like you said, we can figure out the details later. As long as me and mine will get taken care of, we'll probably come to some sort of arrangement.
We most certainly will come to an arrangement.
Adad kind of
Everything
raises
is
an eyebrow.
everything is such a threat when Silverius says it.
I know.
Keep 'em guessing.
Let's hop over to Team Gangplank. We've kind of got Claire and Bardor hanging out just on the deck. Marka has moved up to the quarterdeck at the back of the ship, and it's just sort of like shuffling around up there, checking out the wheel and various other bits and pieces that are up there. You guys do anything? You chilling?
Yeah, I'm just smoking pipe.
You are almost out. Like, very close. You have maybe one good session left after this one.
Shake my head.
What about Claire? How's she feeling?
I'd say probably just generally a little like uneasy. Maybe not uneasy, more just uncomfortable. She didn't really want to be back at the ship yet. It was
Understood.
just too stressful. But otherwise, yeah, she's pretty much just twiddling her thumbs, waiting for the others to come up.
Alrighty. Eska, what are you up to?
So question with no, relevance at all. The people
Sure.
in the pub who were talking about the meeting.
Yeah.
What are my memories of what they look like?
Um,
Even just roughly.
yeah. So it was the oh gosh. I think it was a bit of a mixed group.
Mm-hmm.
I'm testing the memory here. Written down here handily in front of me.
Yeah, I imagine you weren't really worried about what they were at the time.
I think there was, if I remember correctly, one of them's tiefling.
Okay.
I think there was a human and a hero and a half shell total power. Let's see, did I make any other note here? Absolutely.
Did the
I have a vague recollection of there being a tiefling there though.
okay? If there's if there was a tiefling and a human,
Yeah.
from just observing them chatting, because I know I couldn't like hear the conversation per se, but probably caught like like little bits and pieces and a bit of body language. Which one seemed the least leader-like of the bunch?
Roll an insight check.
Okay. Insight. Oh, 19.
Okay. You get the feeling that the human was probably least leadery of those two.
Male human, female human?
Male.
Okay. And the inn they were referring to, was that the one that we ended up sleeping in, or was it a different one?
Yes, it was that one.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is, knowing where that is, I'm going to wander. I know the buildings are a little bit more sparse, but I'm going to do the old Esker go around the back of a building technique.
Uh-huh.
And then as I go around the back of the building, I am going to, once I get where I feel is roughly outside, I imagine it's not too busy, not like crazy busy.
Correct. Yeah, and it's almost dark.
Cool. I'm going to sort of duck into the shadows. I'm going to change a little bit, like decloak and put a couple more of my older ragtag clothes on. That look, I mean, not that my one's now fancy, but you know, just a little different. And then I have some of the orc stuff from the cave. So I've got like a green cap apparently and a leather belt. I'm going to throw them on and cast Alter Self to appear as the human. And then I am going to head around the front of the inn and pop inside. And sort of, you know, as I head in, just kind of take a look around, see how if it's busy or relatively quiet again.
It is it's actually it's not a big crowd, but there's about what do we like 8 or 9 people in there? We'll say 9.
Okay.
I would say 8 or 9, and it's like, well, there's got to be one of them. Or is one person just phasing in and
out? Okay, I'll give a friendly nod to everybody who looks up and seems to reckon. I don't know if anybody reckon. I assume there's a chance. So anybody that sort of looks up with recognition and a friendly nod, I will just give them a friendly nod back and sort of beeline for the bar.
There's a couple of people who seem to sort of have a recognition and a nod. Yeah.
And when I get to the bar, I will talk to the barkeeper. I guess we've met, but not in this guise. So I suppose I'd at least recognize them.
Yes, you recognize the barkeeper. You were there not long ago.
And I don't know if we heard voices or not, but I don't think you at least I don't remember you doing voices for him. So whatever voice it is, I guess I can imitate whatever the voice was if I even caught a little bit of it, and I'll just say to the barkeep, heard there was a meeting, but I didn't hear where it was. Where's it gonna be?
Roll persuasion.
14?
And a deception.
20?
All right. There's like a resigned sigh. And the barman says, every time, Eric. Every single time.
I know, it's hard.
We have code words for a reason. You understand that, right?
Yeah, but you're always changing them.
What's the point?
I know. I'll do better next time.
All right, first of all, what you're supposed to say is, where the moon dances with forgotten stars.
I was never going to remember that.
Just say it so I can say you did.
When the moon dances with the forgotten stars? Is that what you said?
Oh. Good enough.
Okay.
I said where, not when, but whatever. Alright. Safe house in West Meanderings.
Got it.
You know the one.
It's been a long day.
Alright. What you do is the one, go to the graveyard.
Huh?
Go through the back of the graveyard to the old, like, gravekeeper's hut.
Yep, in that.
Knock thrice.
That's 3 times?
Yes,
Okay.
that's 3 times.
Okay, 3 times.
Just sounds better when you say thrice.
It's very fancy.
You knock thrice, and then they're going to ask you to say the code phrase again.
The moon and the forgotten moon.
Yes, Eric.
That'll probably be enough, won't it?
No.
Okay.
You know how they are.
Yeah, that's true.
Look at me on the eyes. You ready?
Looking.
Do you need to write this down?
Well, that's probably not a good idea, right?
All right.
But plus, I can't spell.
Pass the test. Where the moon dances with the forgotten stars.
Got it.
Do you? Are you sure?
Where the moon dances with the forgotten stars.
Right. So what'd you do to get in?
I go to the graveyard, the hut. I knock thrice. And then I say the code words.
Which are?
Where the moon dances with the forgotten stars.
The fact that you almost forgot the forgotten stars.
That's the whole point, isn't it?
Well, look, if you're going, you should go. Because they're going to be starting soon.
Oh boy. Okay. One for the road.
No. Oh, not until you pay up your tab.
Oh. Okay. Thanks. What's their name? I guess they would have introduced themselves when we were in there.
Yes. I imagine they did.
I don't remember if they actually did, but I'm assuming, it would have happened even if we didn't do it.
Why isn't that scrolling? That's annoying. Hold on, please. Now it's scrolling. That was Jerry.
Okay.
Oh, that was Jerry. All right, well, his voice has changed a bit. I just remembered Jerry properly.
Oh. Thanks, Jerry.
We'll say this was Gary, Jerry's brother.
Okay.
You're able to understand Gary.
Thanks, Gary. I'm glad it wasn't Jerry tonight.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, have a good one. And he'll just sort of stumble his way out.
All right, I have legitimately updated my records to include the fact
but now
that
there is a Gary and a Jerry.
Gary has a brother. Yeah.
but is intelligible. All right. There we go. So, you leave?
Yes.
All right.
I sort of, totter out with a bit of swagger. And, oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna go back around the bar, rechange, and run back to the ship.
Okay.
I assume this is all within a couple of minutes of each. Like I'm not.
Yeah,
it's not
that was
far out.
pretty quick.
Okay, cool.
You can see from the like the dock where the ship is, you can see down, and you can just about see the sign of the bar swinging. So yeah, it's not far. Make a stealth check for me too, please.
All right. 20.
All right, good roll.
Oh boy, I'm using all my rolls up here.
Maybe that's a good thing.
I mean, it probably is, honestly.
All right, so Team Hold, you have you sort of had this weird conversation where, for some reason, Silverius has vaguely threatened Captain Adard for, I don't know. There's discussion about settling things up in the morning. What's your plan now?
We're gonna discuss things in the morning. Probably just head back onto the top of the ship. I guess. Oh well, real quick with the captain. After the discussion of meeting in the morning. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking, but he'll just, say to Adard,
So you have provisions for us in the morning?
Provisions? Do I look like a scullery maid?
Not entirely. You just mentioned breakfast.
Yeah, I said you can go eat it. Cup and Rat has food. Or you can venture further afield and find somewhere else. Well, I say food.
You don't know that
You get the idea.
I would not necessarily classify it as such, but it does the job.
Aye.
What I'm getting at is, I do wish a follow-up conversation. I have some questions that you may possibly help with.
Alright, fine. You know where I am? I'll be sleeping on the ship, so, come find me.
No. If you do not mind, I need to get out of here.
As he winces his face at that bucket.
Landlubber. Sort of vaguely under the breath there. But not trying all that hard, to be honest.
And he'll just unceremoniously, start stomping his way upstairs.
Bardor, which pipe you smoking?
Oh, I guess here I would probably use the normal one.
Just asking.
Yeah.
He's got
Nice to know what to expect. So as you come up and you see Bardor basically like one arm on the railing of the gangplank. And Claire just quietly standing around waiting. It's not a particularly warm welcome as you come up, although you're probably used to not getting warm welcomes from some of your traveling companions.
Yeah, that doesn't bother him. He just starts talking once he's with an earshot.
The earliest we can leave is morning, but Captain Addard has agreed to stay, provided we...
Can't think of the word. Just
pay for it.
Has just Silvarius come up at this point?
Smokey would have followed behind, and as he was turning to go up the stairs, he would have cheerily just said to Captain Addard and the other two, have a good night, see you in the morning, and walk up stairs.
How much are they asking for here?
What was that?
How much are they asking for here?
If we are to pay, 20 gold was mentioned. I'm certain or fairly sure that is per day.
Guess we need to find out what we need to so we can get out of here before it costs us a fortune.
We should. At least make good proper use of our time. That had me.
And he's looking around.
Where did Eska go?
She said she was thirsty. She said she'd be right back.
And it's probably not too far from here that Eska does return, hurrying up towards the gangplank on the dock.
I have news.
Hmm?
The meeting, the group that Smokey mentioned earlier, I know where they're going to meet. And they are about to meet right now.
We know who all's going to be there.
I really don't. I'm trying to think through the possibilities because our information gathering has been tricky so far. This is the town itself is very closed. It would seem to infiltration and magic and such. This seems like the first lead that we possibly have. So I'm keen to find a way to get an ear at that meeting, but I also I cannot go as any of the people that we have seen because they may be there, and that would be awkward. But I do not have a way of making myself entirely unnoticeable. Anybody have any ideas of ways to infiltrate without being noticed?
Before we get too far, remind me the importance of this meeting.
I will remind you of the importance of the meeting once we find out what the meeting is. It is seems to be a meeting between a somewhat secretive society that could be a good lead.
Do we know of any ends with this place? Because if we just show up as strangers, it might not look good.
I don't know. I mean, I one thing I could do is show up as somebody that I know wouldn't be at the meeting, but then I would have to explain why I'm there. It at least would not be me, but it would still take some convincing.
I didn't prepare any kind of magic for anything like this. We were just supposed to come over and just look around the city a bit. Maybe find out where Dwarty lived.
Well,
Yes,
I am.
Do you need help with what do you want us to do though? Do you want us to sneak in?
I want an ear in that meeting. I feel like we need to find out things that are happening, and that has been hard so far. Just get an ear to what might be happening below the surface, because we have a rough idea of the city layout and such, but how we get more deeper than that, I do not know.
I am just concerned that we risk ourselves for an uncertain outcome.
Indeed.
Are
Now,
the other two going to be there?
speak.
I would imagine not. I don't think they were involved in that. They are new to the island too, as far as we know. I'm willing to try and go, but I didn't know if anybody had any better ideas of how to get in, and in a even more inconspicuous way.
I'm trying to see if I have something.
Like, again, out of character, literally did not prep anything for any kind of situation like this.
Yeah.
Well, not very stealthily. You, Eska, you would hear these wings flapping behind you, and a little set of clawed hands lands on your shoulder.
Oh. Is this an idea?
Given the circumstance, it is an option. No one knows or can track key dogs. I can utilize his senses as my own. Should we decide this is something to pursue, I feel that is a low-risk option. The thought came to mind, Bardur going in. I've lost him entirely before. But he's more important, too important, to lose should something happen.
How would Kidox get in there?
Given enough time.
He kind of like his face actually grimaces.
I could change his form. He can adopt any animal. Even but a spider.
The ability to change would be useful. How long would it take him?
So Juarez pulls out his little scroll and starts reading because he can't remember.
It's not something he really undertakes.
That's true.
Pull out the scroll of player's handbook.
Made the mistake. I apologize. I did not open this earlier, and it takes a long time to load.
That's right.
I may be throwing some curveballs.
It's like an hour, I think, or an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think if it's cast as a ritual, it would be an hour 10, right? And then regular casting time, I think, is an hour.
I worry the meeting could be over by then.
I mean, if I can find some shadows to hide in, I'm in pretty good shape. If you need me to take on the form of somebody else, I can be pretty good too. But I don't know what I don't know how I blend in as an actual person without potentially having issues with that.
Yeah, it's sort of difficult to, I guess because we don't know what the inside's going to be like, it's hard to know if there's going to be shadows for you to disappear into, isn't it?
Unless I can listen in from the outside.
Where is this meeting?
It is in the hut behind the graveyard.
And how far from here?
I don't know. But I presume not too far. A few minutes, I'd imagine. It's not... Dark Orchard is not a big place.
Point of reference.
You're going to tell me Dark Orchard is a big place?
No, I'm going to tell you it was West Meandering, not Dark Orchard.
Oh, sorry, West Meandering. Now, I'm assuming we have an idea of the... Like, is West Meandering a separate settlement?
You do not know.
Well, that's awkward.
Well, I can go as a eagle or a raven.
Oh, and anything smaller? How small can you go?
Well, it has to be things that I have seen.
Have you seen a fly?
Mosquito. I know there's no stats for a mosquito.
No, that's fine.
They do have a bite attack, though.
What I was going to say was...
It's a sturge, but like challenge rating
0.00000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be like a 0 challenge.
You cannot yet wild shape into anything that can fly.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
A walking
yeah.
mosquito.
It's one of those hopping mosquitoes.
You have to wait till level 8 to be able to fly, I'm afraid.
Have you seen any walking insects?
Fleas can jump really far.
Oh, fleas. You probably have fleas.
Please,
Or
I
have
know.
seen have seen fleas.
See.
Subtle difference.
If we could get you there, would you be willing to go in a set? I mean, there is some risk involved, but you know, some of us could wait outside, and you could make a loud noise if things go poorly.
I mean, I don't know how loud of a noise I can make when I'm a flea, but I can try.
Well, if I my suggestion would be, if things go poorly, don't be a flea.
I just envision this real dramatic scene, like the camera zoomed in on this flea and like runs and flies into the wall, and then it pans out and you just hear.
Or it's Smokey screaming as a flea, and then it pans out and it's just absolute silence.
It pans out.
It's just nothing.
Yeah.
Would you be willing, Smokey? I know we have only just met you, but I sense you are also interested in what is going on.
It is all very intriguing. I am on board.
Smokey, you know where West Meanderings is.
Okay.
If
Cool.
only we know where West Meanderings was.
I can lead the way.
It's just upriver further from the city.
To the west?
Hold on. I need to make sure I'm looking at the map the same direction you're looking at the map.
It'd be very hard. It's further to the east, the West Meanderings.
That would be appropriate to real life.
Actually, yes, it is to the east.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Because to the west is back towards the city.
I guess West Meanderings, there could also, even further east, could be East Meanderings, and it would totally make sense.
Yeah. It's like, you know, the first place you got to when you went through the North Gate was Southwark.
Yeah.
Stuff gets named weirdly.
Don't trust the directions.
I think time is of the essence. So if you are willing, we could go that way and get you in there.
Okay.
Just hear whatever you can hear. See what this group is about. And if you need help, turn out of a flea and scream.
Okay.
Does everybody? Shall we all go? Is everybody partially on board with this? We can sort of stay a little distance away. Maybe a stealthy ones get close. Less stealthy ones be a little further back.
What's the
Maybe,
time again?
Right now, it's basically, as you look out, you can see the sun dipping beneath the horizon. The sky is a beautiful burnt orange. At least out towards the setting sun. Towards the other side, it's starting to get dark.
Oh, Bardo must have already gone.
Yeah, if this is, I'm gonna start, like, I can jump in the shadows and
You just see smoke
Disappear.
coming out of the nothingness.
just
Yeah, yeah.
disappear.
I if it helps everybody, I don't think we'll have had a better chance to find out more information about what's going on.
There is a certain fog of war with the entirety of this. I admit there may be something.
If it turns out to just be a book club, then, Smokey can head on out and we forget about it.
So far as he looks to Cosette and Claire just to kind of see their, like how they're responding to this.
Claire is 1000% not happy about this.
Yeah, Cassette's worried, but I think she agrees with it. This is what we came to do, is learn things. I don't know that we're going to get a better opportunity. It's risky, but I think it's a chance we have to take.
Claire is the worrier. There's too many things we're not prepared for. But if everyone's going along with it, she's gonna just have to go along with it. But she's not happy about it.
Plus, Eska was smart and tricked the new guy into doing it, so,
Expendable crewmen.
Yeah.
Considering it an audition.
Wait a second. Let me get my other character sheet out.
This is fun, guys.
Smokey is our new Silverius, who we just push in to activate all of the traps, and then,
Got 9 lives.
So yeah, but
Fine.
it's not as funny when Smokey gets hurt.
That's true.
Hey, to some of us, not to all of us. The one time you might hear Silvarius laugh. Knee slapper. No.
Lead the way, Smokey.
Smokey will take off in the direction of the, what were they called again? The West Woods or whatever.
The West
West
Meanderings to the
Meanderings.
east.
He says this way to the westwards or whatever.
The west,
And we all look at each other like, uh-oh.
the east woods to the west.
It's all because Phil had the map flipped when we first started.
I think so. That's my logic.
You can never prove
I
that.
think it's still flipped, to be honest, on Phil's screen.
Drakesburg is constantly spinning. That's what's
That's
happening.
the problem with it.
Yeah, it has
It
its
is
own
secretly
orbit.
always rotating.
Wouldn't that be? Wow, that would be a.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
You'll never know. I'll never tell. All right, so Smokey. Oh goodness!
Eska will just say as we get close. When we get
Camera just fell off.
when we get close to the graveyard, just let us know and pull up, and we'll try and find a place for the rest of us to hide.
And we should form additional layers of backup plans. Should something go awry.
Yes.
I myself shall utilize Kidox. And what you said about a distraction, should we need one, well, that's not exactly a bad idea.
So if you mean if things go wrong, we do something or we cause something very distracting outside?
Just to divert their attention.
That makes sense.
But we're really going to focus on not causing anything to go wrong, right?
That is the primary goal.
It is
Fear
not my
not,
goal.
little one.
to cause trouble.
Yikes. Did he really just say that?
We can retcon that. We can take it out.
I think we can.
Friendly reminder.
no,
half
please
of
don't.
us don't have our armor and weapons.
I think Smoke Flea will be able to do this, no problem.
You say smoke flea?
Mm-hmm.
Smokily.
I also heard smoke flea.
I heard smoke flea because smoke flea is absolutely right. I understand now.
If you would like, Severus, Kedox is... I can't remember if Kedox is good at keeping quiet, but I imagine that Bador and I could crawl up close, and if Kedox is quiet, Kedox could come with us, if you wish to watch from a little further away.
Hang on, let me look at something here.
Even without armor, I would recommend keeping Claire far away because she has really, really bad stealth stats.
I do have pass without a trace. I just need to look at how that, if it's...
Oh, like if you can do it
What
whilst
kind of-
you're...
Yeah.
It's a
Because that could be really handy.
It's a concentration.
Oh,
yeah,
maybe you
it's
can cast it
30
before you... But
Now,
to
potentially
1
Smokey
hour.
could cast it whilst Smokey is with us, then transform into a flea, and then we all crawl up. Or potentially me and Badr, if we're keeping the quiet ones close, crawl up with the flea, and then the flea could go on, and that would sort of give as much stealth as possible. But I don't know if concentration holds when you're a flea.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can concentrate when you shift, right?
I don't know. Here's the problem. I apparently I didn't write the directions of what wild shape is on my sheet here, and I don't know why, because I did everything else like straight out of the book, but wild shape I didn't.
That's right. Yeah, transforming doesn't break concentration. But it does. Oh, and it also doesn't prevent you from taking actions that are part of a spell, such as Cool Lightning. So you can cast something like Cool Lightning,
Okay.
transform, and continue your action every turn to cast to keep the Cool Lightning calling.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
You don't have to leave it on call waiting.
Right. Very handy.
So that's nice.
Okay.
So yes, and I think I was. Were we talking about this, Spencer, the other day? The way that I view, like, I think people look at Pass Without a Trace differently.
Uh-huh.
Some people think you have to stay within 30 feet of the caster to benefit from, like, for the duration of the spell. Whereas to me, it's, I don't, because that kind of makes it like an aura, whereas I see it as, if you're there when it's cast, you then benefit from it for the duration, regardless of where you move to.
Okay.
What's the wording?
But it's ambiguous.
It is ambiguous.
Yes,
It says for the duration, each creature you choose within 30 feet of you, including you, has a plus 10 bonus to stealth checks, or it says dexterity and stealth in parentheses, and can't be tracked except by magical means.
What's the wording on fairy fire? Because I think that we were talking about that too.
Let me pull that up on something. I don't have it on.
Well, like if you get hit by fairy fire but then move out of the radius, you mean?
Yeah, it sticks with you. So I don't know if it was like worded similarly to that, the vagueness of it. Now I know that fairy fire grips you with like sparkles or whatever.
It just says each object in a 20-foot cube within range is outlined in light. Any creature in the area when the spell is cast is also outlined in light if it fails a dex saving throw. And then for the duration, objects affected shed dim light. So, yes, that's very much, if you're there when it's cast, you're affected.
That
by
has
this.
very specific wording.
And
Seems
pass
like
without a trace is vague.
it is. It does leave it open to be interpreted either way. Like you could read it and and it could be
it
either
says,
or.
a veil of shadows and silence radiates from you, masking you and your companions from detection. But again, so that could be an aura.
That does sound, because it's like, veil of shadows and it's radiating from you.
Yeah. But then it doesn't say... it's up to an hour, not 10 minutes.
Oh my god.
It doesn't say it only affects if they stay within 30 feet.
Right.
It just says, for the duration, each creature you choose within 30 feet of you, including you, has plus 10, blah, 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 blah.
It's going to be up to you, Phil.
I personally like the idea of it being like if you're there when it's cast, you can benefit from it, and then the sort of shadowiness follows you.
I suppose it doesn't really make sense for us to argue with that, seeing as that's the nicer interpretation.
I think that would be wise.
And it is, it's not really like an aura because it's concentration for limited to an hour. So, I mean, you might as well just give it to us.
I mean, if it helps, I literally already have. Okay, so let me just confirm that I fully understood the plan. And so I know where people are going to be and yada, yada, yada. So, everybody's following Smokey to
Fully
the
understood
graveyard.
The plan too.
You know what? That's good too. Okay. So, Smokey is going to, once you get close, cast Pass Without Trace, and then assume Flea form.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then Team Sneaky Boots, which is going to be Eska, Bador. Was that it? Was Kedox going with them too?
I mean, I've
was that the
offered
plan?
Silverius if Silverius feels Kedox can be quiet, but if not...
Can Kedox benefit from Pass Without a Trace?
That's up to you as the caster.
Oh, I would say I would try to cast it on him. Include him in the.
Yeah, I mean, he's a valid target, so yeah, that's fine.
He could be very stealthy then.
So, Team Sneaky Boots, Escobar or Kedox, will move close to the hut. Yes?
Yes.
Not that you know the arrangement yet, but just so we're clear.
I'd imagine... My imagining is that we'd get really close and then Bardo would actually get right up to it, and just so that the flea doesn't have to go so far.
So
Right,
the
that's...
flea shall jump upon my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Or in your hair.
In your beard.
As I itch.
Yeah. The beard is better.
And accidentally
He
smash
deals
it.
1d4 damage and this giant cat person flies out.
Yeah. I was saving that for later.
And then, Team, Not So Sneaky. What's your plan?
So Silvarius, he will have to have people around him when he channels through, because he loses his regular world senses. For knowledge sake, if they needed to like move him,
Gotcha.
or to let him know, like, hey.
How close do you need to stay?
100 feet, so to keep the telepathy up, the telepathic link.
So I guess, yeah, depending on the area we're in, either hiding or loitering around, trying to look inconspicuous.
I guess we need to see the area. Is there like a comfy bench nearby?
Let's find out. So, it's about a 20-minute walk from the dock to into West Meandering itself. There are some similarities to Dark Orchard in terms of the style of building. You're sort of seeing use of driftwood in some places. There's not a lot of big sturdy construction. You do also notice there's a fair amount of what looks like runic carvings on some of the wood. You can see it's kind of lit up by the occasional torch as you walk through. Obviously it's getting dark now, so it's not as easy to see, but where there is some of the wood close to a torch, you can make out some of the these sort of runic carvings in the wood. And you also notice there's a several of the houses seem to be or like a reasonable proportion of them seem to be for shorter people. You don't see a lot of people milling about. One thing you do notice, the sort of the main sort of hub of the small area seems to be based around a large bridge that crosses the river here. So you've been on the north bank for this stretch, walking along, and you come to this bridge, and it is you can see there's like torches either side, so it's well lit up, and it's clearly a sort of focal point for the settlement. And what's interesting, you can see pretty quickly, the bridge seems to be made of the very bedrock that is underfoot. There doesn't seem to, it's not a constructed bridge as far as you can tell. It's almost as if the bridge grew out from the rock to cross the river here. And as you are approaching from the west side, you can see that there has been some carving done on this. It's like one solid piece of rock all the way across, but you can see carving done. Give me anyone who wants to give me a religion check.
Hold on.
I might not be terrible.
Not great at it, but might know something. 14 for Sylvarus.
14 for Claire. I should be better at it, but
Yeah, that's an amazing religion score.
That is.
23 for Cassette.
Woo!
All right. So Claire Severus, you're looking. Oh, Smokey. What was that, Smokey?
4.
Okay.
he tried.
He did.
He did. He's more focused on just getting you there. And he's probably heard of this bridge. But hadn't seen it, and doesn't really know anything about it, and isn't too fussed about it. But Clarence Severus, you see these faces sort of like staring out of the stone at you as you walk close towards the bridge. And it does seem like Smokey's leading you towards the bridge as if you have to cross it. And the faces are crying. And you're kind of just like looking at the faces, look a little warped. And perhaps a little malevolent. Cosette, you know, without any question of a doubt, that these are fiendish characters that have been carved into the stone here. You actually would even recognize one face that is fairly near the sort of the apex of the bridge. And it just stands out to you. It is the face crying also, like all of them. But it is the face of the Demon Lord Grazit. And I'm going to have to double check my spelling. Okay, I have spelled it correctly. I'm going to put that one in the chat.
I'm not going to say it correctly.
Right.
She'll kind of relay that as people are kind of, it catches people's attention. She'll kind of whisper it to the group.
And
I'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna see if there's any. You said it's fiendish in nature.
are you going to see what?
It's fiendish. Cosette was conveying that it was fiendish in nature.
Yeah.
Can I do primeval awareness?
You may.
Okay, so
So that's...
tingle my spidey sense.
And remind me of the list, please.
Else, let's see. It is
'Cause I know there's a bunch.
aberration, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead.
And it's a mile?
Yep. Unless we're underground.
Unless
Are we underground?
Favored.
We're underground?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Oh.
And I guess we've walked about a mile, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You would actually... I don't think you're going to get anything right now. Rather unusual.
Let's live here.
Feels like there's always something around.
Comforting feeling.
Eska,
Hello?
as Cosette points this out, you look over at the face of Grazit. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it. And you're struck for a second. It looks very similar to a face you saw. Not exactly the same, but very similar. When you were sailing out of Drakesburg, Delsmer,
Uh-huh.
to cross over to Drakesburg, and you looked up onto the harbor wall, you saw a Triton looking down at you.
Yes.
Face is eerily similar. There's, obviously this is a, sort of like a gray face because it's just made out of pure rock. So you can't gauge any kind of similarity in terms of skin tone. But the overall shape, they're like the ears kind of a slightly elongated top and bottom. And there's like almost like a little fin type thing on top of the head. And you're just struck by a surprising similarity between this face and the face that was staring down at you.
That's going to put her a bit more on edge. I mean, you said this has been here, it looks like it's been here a long time.
Yes.
But it can't help but make me think that maybe there's some relationship between those creatures and potentially this island.
Claren Bardor, give me a stone cutting check. You are dwarfs. I guess would be. I don't know if you have a specific thing you can click. If not, we'll just do.
It's
Is it just-
history, but technically it's
No.
double your proficiency.
Oh, there you go.
It doesn't.
So
doesn't
if you
survive.
have something that you may just have to sort of roll the dice and figure out your modifiers as a result.
Add 3 to whatever the result is.
Mine's 24 with a +6. So it would be
Yikes.
whatever plus more.
27?
Yeah.
Well, my
Okay.
hold on.
She's like,
That is-
religion? Nah. Rocks? Hell
Wild.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, so you're actually
Fuck yeah, I love some rocks, man.
I mean,
considered
for some
proficient.
people, history and religion are one and the same. So instead of -1, it would actually be plus 5. So it'd be 23,
Sweet.
right? Yeah.
Yay, rocks.
27 and 23. You are using all of your good rolls where they need to go. Absolutely, for sure. Just looking at this rock looks ancient. It looks it looks like it has been here for as long as the ground has been here. And it literally looks like it is just a naturally occurring bridge over the river, but that seems odd because rock doesn't usually grow over rivers. But nevertheless, looking at it, you would say this is very much a natural feature somehow. And yeah, it's ancient.
And definitely would convey that to the group, and especially the weirdness of this once again being an island that shouldn't exist, but having rock on it that is as old as time.
Tale as old as time.
That face reminds me of the face we saw as well as we left Dilsma, the face of the creature that was close to the blooded hand.
Was who? I thought Esco was the only one that saw that, or did everyone?
I think I was the only one that saw it because I was looking at it particularly.
Yeah, the Triton, because
Yeah.
I know Claire was distracted by the symbols, because
Right.
we saw other, like, more symbols as we were leaving of the, I can't remember his name, the other evil.
The antithesis of yours.
Yeah.
Malar.
Yeah, Malar.
As we left Delsma, there was one of these Triton creatures on the wall that stared our way, and that face is very reminiscent. So it causes me to wonder if that their race has strong ties to this island, perhaps. Something to bear in mind, at least.
So you crossed the bridge? Yes?
Mm-hmm.
That's where Smokey's taking you.
Yep.
Does anyone object?
Smokey's walking over the bridge and we're all
Smokey's
just
going?
staring,
Is
pointing
anyone
at the bridge.
stopping me? Or am I... Do I like notice that they've all stopped?
Yeah, I know Smokey can sometimes be a little bit out of it, but I think you'd notice that.
So he'd kind of look back, as in like, with an expression of, "Aren't you guys coming?" And just kind of wait and see what they do.
I mean, Eska would snap out of it after a few moments and follow on. Determined to follow out the plan, but just bearing that worrying thing in mind.
Okay. You head a little bit further upstream now that you've crossed over. And it's just another minute or two before you can see the sort of on the edge a little ways of the sort of the buildings. You can see the graveyard. It's not a massive graveyard. You would estimate maybe couple of hundred graves. That big? I can't tell. It's not massive, but it's not tiny.
Mm-hmm.
And just visible at the back is there's a very small flickering light on a wooden wall. that you would believe would be the hut.
And as we are coming upon this, is it one of those graveyards that is nestled like in a city kind of area, surrounded by buildings, or are we getting less and less populated? Like, are we more into like a field?
Yeah, so you would say the buildings are have definitely thinned, and the path just sort of like leads away from the river between a couple of buildings, and then you've got the graves, and it's sort of there's a rickety sort of wooden fence that kind of outlines the edge of the graveyard, and then there's the hut at the back. And then behind the hut, there are a few trees, and it sort of like gives way to the wilds beyond. Well, you assume. You can kind of make out the trees a little bit in the fading light. Those with dark vision probably can see a little better. But you can all kind of see the small flickering light on the hut itself. So you kind of, to get close to the hut, you do have to move away from the protection of other buildings. You kind of be out in the open a little bit.
Are there like street lamps or anything here? Torches?
Not really, no. So most of the lamps kind of tend to be closer to the river. And at this point, there's the building sort of like on the right of the, you kind of have to go between two buildings, fairly far apart. I'm trying to remember how far things are. I know that's a weird way to word that.
That certainly is a weird way.
What I mean is, how far would be quite far apart? I don't know, 20 yards. That seem reasonable? That seem far apart for buildings?
Depends on
seems reasonable, depending.
All right.
My neighbor is like 60 feet away, maybe.
Yeah, perfect. So we'll say that there's a gap like that. The house on the right has a little wall sconce type thing that is lit. The house on the left has nothing lit. And then, but that's kind of like facing, the house is facing back towards the river. So there's nothing really lighting the way between, like, once you get past that house, then there's nothing really lighting the way between there and the little flickering light.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yes, I think so.
I just need to be a bit closer.
I guess let's, should we... Silveris isn't going to have to pop out into the open, right, to be within 100?
Let's think. You would think that if you stand sort of like towards the back of that one building, well, either building, left or right, it's probably close. It's going to be kind of close to where 100 feet is, but you would think it's probably less than 100 feet from there to the hut.
And you said there's not really anybody like milling about?
Yeah. You've seen a few people on the streets as you've been walking. You would notice, and Bardor, I think this would probably be of most concern to you. One or two of the the handful of people you've seen. No, I've done it again. A couple. Can't say one or two. A couple of the people milling around seem distinctly goblinoid in nature. You could even say they were goblins.
Okay.
They seem to just be wandering around town.
Does Bardo seem to be reaching for his bow?
No, he's not.
Okay, good. Just Eska just checks.
He's drawing his invisible bow back.
Is this good, Silverius?
I believe so. And if not, I'll find a way to get close.
So, did I already cast Pass Without Trace? Or do I need to say that I've cast it?
I didn't believe it had been cast.
Okay, I will go ahead and cast it.
Smokey.
Yes.
Before you go, they had a code for those wishing to enter, which was where the moon dances with the forgotten stars. I tell you that in case if things do go wrong and you need to talk your way out of things. If you have the code phrase, you can try and sell yourself off as having told about this meeting and that you were supposed to be there. It feels like it's worth knowing.
Sí. Gracias.
And then Esker will pull her hood up and get ready.
I will go into flee. Did we decide I was flee? Yeah, flee mode. And try to launch myself into Bardor's beard.
I'd like to think that you take a huge leap at Bardor in cat form and then turn into Flea partway.
Oh boy.
Does it still knock me out?
Just after Smokey did cast Pass Without a Trace, Savarius, he reaches down and grabs a little bit of dirt and kind of like starts like sifting it through his fingers and casts Long Strider at 2nd level on Bardur and Smokey.
Alrighty. Plus 10 movement.
Long striding
each.
Flea. Woo!
Yeah, that's going to be a big jump. Big jump. Okay.
I cast Jump on the Flea.
It launches into space.
It does do 3 times your jumping.
Alrighty, so let me please from everyone have a stealth check.
Add 10. And
Plus
just
10.
before Kedox flies away, actually, I might not need to even do this. Okay, no, Savarius casts. If this will work, Phil, Savarius wanted to cast Comprehend Languages. Can he channel through, if he telepathically links to Kedox, can he utilize Comprehend Languages through Kedox to understand language?
Don't see why not.
Okay. So he's going to cast that right before they head out.
Yeah, so you're the one who understands, so you would understand any written language that you see.
Any spoken language that you hear.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I just want to be able to understand things.
Yeah, so my understanding is that you would, Kedox might not understand it, but if you're looking through Kedox, you would understand it
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Good gravy. These are high rolls.
And that actually would have been plus 14 for Pass Without a Trace key docs. So 32 for key docs.
Oh yeah, mine's actually 29.
Got
with the plus then.
25.
Yeah.
30,
27.
34.
Wow.
Mine, I didn't want to interrupt because Eli was talking.
Sorry.
Mine is coded to roll for heavy armor, even though I technically don't have my heavy armor on. So it always rolls at disadvantage.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take that coding off because it's just temporary.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fine.
So I don't know which one you want to take. Either.
I would just take the first one.
Yeah, it's either. Doesn't really make a difference really too much. So it's either 14 or 13 plus 10. So.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, there we go. That's the most ludicrous numbers ever.
Pass Without a Trace. Holy cow.
So the worst roll is what, 23?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. All right. So, where is everyone at this moment?
In Bardor's beard.
Exactly.
Right?
Everybody's jumping in the beard.
Everybody walks into each other because we can't see each other.
I'll hang back with Tavarius if needed.
Okay.
I'm gonna crawl
Same.
after. Oh yeah. I'm gonna crawl after Bardor. I'm assuming we're crawling. I don't know.
Rambo style.
That's what I was planning. But if Bardor starts walking, I'm gonna feel silly.
I mean,
I'll never see him anyways.
I'm not.
That's true. Okay.
I didn't think Bardo was going to be crawling.
Okay, Eska's crawling because she doesn't know that Bardor's not crawling.
That's true. And Bardo probably can't tell because he can't even see Eska.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you slowly, quietly make your way up towards the hut. When you get there, it is about 10 foot by 10 foot little wooden shack. There's a rickety looking wooden door, and there's just like a candle that's placed under a little guard to stop the wind from putting it out. That's what you could see from further back. That's what you are presented with.
Alright. So I'm not going to try to. I'm trying to stay away from the candle so it doesn't blow my cover.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you sort of like go to the end of the graveyard and like sneak across like near where the trees are, you can get right up next to the building without the like being in front of the candle. And the candle's only putting out like, I don't know, like a little 10-foot bubble of dim light.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. This is not a big bright candle or anything.
Right. Well, I'll try to get around the door, I suppose, and just be just tell Smokey to go at it, and hopefully it works out. Considering I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to see a flea in the dark.
So when Bardor tells me to go, I'm just going to bounce out.
Was there a chimney out of this hut?
You can't tell. Well,
Like, or is there any smoke coming out of this hut to begin with? Like obvious signs of,
no.
Okay. And well, you said we're on the back side of the hut as well, right?
Yeah, so you're looking through Kedox's eyes, and Kedox is on Eska. Is that correct?
Yeah, as long as you can find like a spot to not give off any kind of glow, like subtle glow. I think that they tend to, don't they? Don't familiars tend to have like a subtle energy, like about them?
Yeah, I don't know if he's like permaglowing.
As long as he's not permaglowing, yeah, he'd be riding with.
Yeah, I would imagine he might even be able to. It might be a sort of a what you call it, like a semi optional thing. I'm just double checking the spell real quick.
Yeah, because if it's optional, it's gone.
Because I know he would be, celestial or Fae
Celestial,
or
I think.
Yeah, I mean, for him, I would assume celestial.
Or the other options.
I think it's reasonable for him to sort of focus and negate his glow.
Okay.
So yeah, we can say that he is not glowing and just perched on whoever. Crawling Eska.
Crawling.
Okay, so Smokey, you are a flea.
Yes.
Please make for me an acrobatics check with advantage. For this, gosh. We'll say he's very acrobatic. So just give me roll with advantage, and we'll say you have a +6 to whatever you roll.
23.
Okay. You are able to hop over to the bottom of the door. You nearly smack into the door. This is a new form for you. But you successfully find a gap that's plenty big enough for you, and you can just kind of like scurry under the door. And what you see inside is you notice that there weren't any like windows on the hut. When you get inside, you do see that there's a couple of candles that are burning.
Mm-hmm.
And you also see standing above you, not looking at you, not paying any attention. But you see a tiefling with dark red skin, large curled horns, and you wouldn't be able to see their eyes from down here. But you can see the horns and the red skin for sure. But since they're not looking down and their face is a long way up, you cannot see eye color or anything like that. They appear to be looking out through some sort of hatch slidey thing on the door. Definitely paying you no mind. What you also notice is on the floor in front of you, there is there's a couple of crates, and it looks like you can see that they've sort of been pushed to one side, and there is a trapdoor in the floor that is currently closed.
Okay. So I will over to the trapdoor.
Okay.
And see if I
you
can
get
get
over there.
through it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're really small. And this is not the finest crafting in all the world. You're able to sneak through a gap and walk along the almost vertical surface. Not quite perfectly vertical, but it's almost vertical. And creep down underneath the trapdoor. And what you find is a rickety set of stairs that leads down into a much larger room. This one is 30 feet by 30 feet. and you see a lot of people around. Here is what you see. Smokey. You're sort of entering the room upside down, essentially. Because you're now on the ceiling. But you can kind of like move away from the stairs. And see, there are about, just quick eyeball, you would guess somewhere around about 20 people in the room. There's a wide variety of species. You see humans. There's a gnome. There's a few elvish looking people, a couple of dwarves, and you even see what looks like another tabaxi. Now, I say all that, but there's a caveat. Everyone in this room has their face covered. Easy to tell the tabaxi because they've still got their ears poking out. But they all have some sort of face covering on. So you're sort of gauging based on ear shape, general height, that sort of thing, to sort of figure out what you're looking at. But yes, there's a distinct mixture. You see, a dark purple-skinned tiefling. You can see their hand. You can see, quite the collection here. What do you want to do as you're sort of like just looking around and seeing this collection of people?
I kind of just want to be in a position where I can hear as much as possible without being noticed. So I guess, is anybody saying anything that, gives me an idea of how well I can hear from the position that I'm in?
Make a perception check.
Oh dear. That's
Is
a
it
natural
the
one.
perception? Oh no.
It doesn't matter. It's a 1.
Okay. Where you're at, you're struggling to hear properly. You are realizing that the flea hearing mechanics are not what you're used to with your ears.
Okay. So I will try to make my way maybe try to make my way down or across over to the wall, kind of like, I guess, yeah, fleas can crawl, like kind of crawling across, because I'm kind of on the ceiling right now, right?
You are on the ceiling. You are quite close to the stairs, the sort of slightly rickety stairs.
Okay. So I'll just kind of try to close. Are there walls on either side of the stairs, or is it just like stairs kind of coming down in the middle of the room and there's no walls on? They're open.
Yeah, there's just like a handrail on one side.
Okay. Well, I'll get on the handrail and just kind of crawl down the handrail and see if by the time I get to the end of it, if I can hear any better.
Okay. Give me a renewed stealth check.
Oh dear. Oh, what is the stealth of a flea?
I'll give you that +6 again.
Okay. So
You're
8,
very dexterous.
It's 8, but then I still have pass without a trace, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So 18.
Okay. So you rolled a 2?
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
Oh boy.
From what you can tell, as you get down to the bottom, you can start hearing some of the conversation. From what you can tell, it seems like there is a female who's doing a lot of the talking. She's sort of like directly away from where you are at, like the other side of the circle, essentially. She seems to be at the moment like leading this, and you can hear she is saying that one of the members of the calm has been identified, or at least is, if not exactly identified, is coming under a lot of scrutiny from the supporters of the potentate, and they are considering this to be a significant risk to this member. You do not hear a name associated with the person who seems to be in danger.
Okay.
But you gather that they're sort of treating this as like an imminent threat to one of their group. And a couple of people pipe up. The tabaxi.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you hear you hear him say specifically that he thinks it would be unusual for them to use the Drake's Warden. They're probably going to be using someone more low-key to carry out any kind of mission like this. Yep. How long are you staying there? And you know, are you still just, your plan is to just stay perched there and keep listening?
Yeah.
Okay. So the conversation continues, and you hear them talking about they are talking about the security of their group, their network, discussing possible vulnerabilities or weaknesses, maybe there's some speculation as to whether someone had leaked information. And then at that time, where they're talking about the possibility of someone leaking information, you see the purple-skinned tiefling raise a hand, and she says, I think you should know there's someone else here. And everyone stops talking. Make a...
Okay. My initial reaction would be to try to start crawling back up the handrail.
Okay. Make a... sorry. Make a...
Can I make a key docs inquiry?
Yes.
I had originally planned on him trying to, I guess, be somewhat, like, less the focus, but like a backup, infiltrator. In the event, like, because Smokey's all alone.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to, and we can just, that was my original intent, but I never acted upon it. We can just leave it as is.
What would, how would that have looked?
So his approach would have been, scale the house, look for a means of entry on top.
Gotcha.
And then if, what kind of a roof was on top.
I see. Yep, you could definitely do that. In the meantime, Smokey, make a wisdom saving throw, please. So what you would find is that the shack is surprisingly not very easily entered except through the door.
Okay.
There are no windows, there's no chimney. It's just this like 10 by 10 shack. With one wooden door at the front. Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
It's 14 using Smokey's wisdom save.
Yeah, and I think you used your mental stats still in wild shape, right?
I think so. I think that's what I remember from Critical Role is they usually keep their stats. They're those ones in particular.
So, the tiefling says, they are here in the room. They are in a different form. I cannot see them, but I know they are here somewhere. They are very aware that they have been discovered. What's Smokey thinking right now?
Panic, get out of here fast.
They are panicking. They want to get out of here fast.
Can I hear anything? Like if I'm just like outside door hiding in the dark?
Give me a perception check. In fact, I would say that Eska and the Kedox also, please.
Oh, 9 for me.
20.
20.
19 for Kedox.
Okay. What you hear is the sound of someone shouting, albeit kind of muffled, But you hear someone shouting, saying, "Seal the door! Don't let anyone out!" And you hear what sounds like a wooden bar being placed across the inside of the door.
Okay.
Make Smokey, make an intelligence check. So just D20 plus your intelligence modifier, not a save.
Okay. Mm-hmm. 19.
Okay. You, as you're climbing up the handrail, you feel this presence pushing into your mind, and you force it back. And you feel like that presence has been eradicated. What you do see is there is a dwarf who quickly hurries towards the stairs and pulls out or grabs rather from the wall behind him a large halberd type deal. So, like a large stick with basically an axe on the end of it. And he goes rushing up the stairs. Give me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh boy.
Quick, flee!
Oh, it's not good, guys. 7.
Smoke flea turned into smoke flea.
So, as he runs up the stairs, he puts his hand down on the banister for support as he's getting ready to push up through the trapdoor and absolutely puts his hand down on you.
Oh.
Hey, Rich,
Yeah.
did you say you found the stats for a flea? Or a giant flea?
It was for a giant flea.
Like, how giant?
Like this,
hang
is it a Sturgis level flea?
on. Let's see. Oh,
The size of a baseball.
I mean, it's... Oh boy, there's things all over this.
It's like a dire flea.
Don't show me this again. There we go. A
guess
small
with the-
beast, so pretty big.
Okay.
It has
what was
27
his
hit
AC?
points.
Like the
Oh,
flea of your
27?
nightmares.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Holy crap. That sounds terrifying.
14. Natural armor.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, as it happened, you rolled a natural 1 to hit. Because they
Ooh.
didn't know you were there. So you see this hand come down, and it splats down onto the handrail. And the fingers go like either side of you. And then he reaches the top of the stairs and just shoulder barges the trapdoor open. And like looks around. You can kind of see him like at the top there looking around and just like talking to the tiefling you saw earlier. It's like, where did they go? Do you see him? And the tiefling's just like, what are you talking about? It's just me. Literally just me. And the dwarf suddenly comes tearing back down. Make another dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh boy.
As you continue your climb up.
Must do better. 9 plus 3. It's not much better, but it's a little bit better. 12.
Okay, the hand doesn't get quite as close this time. But you see that he comes tearing back down into the room below. He says, "No sign of anyone up there. Well, aside from..." And then he stops himself before he says a name. "Our man is up there. No one else has come through." And you can see the tiefling who was talking earlier looks around, and you see them readying to cast a spell. What do you do?
I'm making a beeline for the trapdoor. So just
A flea line.
Yes,
a flea line to the trapdoor.
Okay, please make a dexterity saving throw.
Natural 1.
What the-
Oof.
Yikes.
It's going bad, guys. Going bad.
One night.
Oh boy.
All of a sudden, the stairs start to glow, surrounded by bright purple light.
No, dear, cast fairy fire on me.
And you look down at your little flea legs. And your little flea legs also glow purple. You think now you're right towards the top of the handrail. You could probably jump up and get out of the like up the other side of the trapdoor.
I'm going for it.
Okay. Give me acrobatics.
Okay, I'm gonna position myself differently this time. See if I can make this work better. Roll good. Oh no, it's a natural 1 again.
Oh dear.
Spectacular.
No one can see your rolls. Just start lying, Angie.
Guys, I'm scared.
The group outside, Eska, you didn't hear anything, but Kedox and by extension Silveris and Bardor, what do you do? So you heard bar the door, don't let anyone out. Then you heard a loud slamming noise, and then brief conversation, and then it's been relatively quiet since then.
I would walk around and knock on the door.
And Kedox scuttles across the top and peeks down at Barter.
I didn't expect just knocking on the door.
That was...
Very well. You
Kedox screeches at Barter real quick, goes... And if Barter looks up, he's got this very disgruntled tiny lizard face.
He just looks up and just gives a surly look as per usual.
There's like a pause for a second, and then you hear a voice say, interesting timing. Whither shall we go this night?
Where the moon dances with the stars.
Oh no.
You hear the sound of a little wooden panel sliding open.
And as that happens, I snap my fingers and I cast Disguise Self. And I get about a foot taller and I'm a little bit more lanky. without a beard. Look a little bit more, a little bit more human.
Okay. So this, you see looking through the door at you, but not at you, like looking just above you, basically. You see, in the light, coming from inside, you can just make out a dark red, skin and glowing yellow eyes staring out in your very vague direction. And he just says, that's almost just 1 second. And he closes the panel, turns around, and you hear the sound of something swishing. Don't mind me just rolling a dice. Okay.
Oh, would
Yep, go on.
question? Would Esker have noticed Badr? I guess Badr had stepped into the light, right?
Yes, and you would have also heard the knocking, and then the conversation start.
She's gonna crawl closer, but stay down. But she obviously something is very much up, so she's just gonna crawl within range, but just slightly outside of the door.
Okay. Smokey, you hop out this of the trap door, this little purple flare, and you hear some conversation happening at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And as you look around, there is suddenly a broom coming at you at high speed.
Oh boy.
And unfortunately, it makes contact with you and sends you at high velocity into the wall. I think it's only reasonable that a flea has 1 hit point.
I would think so.
Because I can't imagine a world where a flea has more than 1 hit point.
Yeah.
So you hit against the wall and suddenly poof back into Smokey. You look down, your furry hands are still aglow. And you see the tiefling's glowing eyes staring down at you. He says, "Oh ho. Well, I didn't expect that." And then he calls down and says, "Well, I think I found our interloper." What do you do?
I just repeat the phrase that that Eska told me, I just say, "Where the moon dances with the forgotten stars," and hope that saves me.
You see the this tiefling like raises the broom, ready to strike again viciously with a broom. And he sort of hesitates for a second. And all right, just wait there just a moment. And,
Knock.
yes, I'll be right with you. And you can see he's getting flustered. And then this masked dwarf, you can see the Smoky. This masked dwarf comes back up the stairs, hurrying with the halberd in one hand. It says, "Right. You know the phrase. I think it's time we do some talking."
Okay.
And then there's like a moment where he kind of pauses, and he looks up at the tiefling, says, "Was there someone at the door?" And he's like, "Oh, right, yes. Do you want to talk to them too?" And he says, "Take the bar off." And he quickly takes the bar off. And Bador, you see the door in front of you opens wide, and standing in front of you there is a stout dwarf with a like I said, there's a mask over the face, but protruding out from the mask there's this long braided gray beard, and you can see in the light that's kind of spilling out now from the hut, there's all manner of tattoos up the length of, like, sort of from almost reaching up to the fingers on the hand all the way up the arm and into the sleeves of his robes. And he looks up at this strange human and says, "Who in the hells are you, and what are you doing here?"
Before I answer that, can I have heard what Smokey said as for the passcode?
Yes, okay. I think you would probably have heard that. So then
I will repeat and say where the moon dances with the forgotten stars. Is what I'll say. And see what he said.
There's just like this awkward pause. And a voice kind of calls out from underneath. And it just says, "I think perhaps we need to just bring everyone together. Are there any more of you waiting outside?"
I pause for a moment to see if I hear anything in confirmation.
Eska and Kedox can hear this conversation.
So I only just pause for a moment to hear if they give anything.
Nothing audible from Kedox.
Okay, I think I'm going to, whilst they're having this little conversation, I am going to, because I'm trying to work out what on earth is going on, I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts.
Okay.
I want to get some inkling of how much trouble we're in, or not. I don't know. I wasn't expecting to do this. So I didn't. Let's see. You can focus your mind on any one creature that you can see within 30 feet of you. Okay. So. I guess when they say, "Is there anybody else?" I'm going to appear.
Okay.
And I will, I guess I will subtly cast Detect Thoughts.
Alright. Please mark off your doodads.
Yeah.
Sorcery points. There we go. I remember the thing.
So I was marking off my spell slot as well.
Yeah, that too.
Okay. And I just want to ready an action with Kedox to, if they are let in, Kedox is going to try to sneak in through the top of the door frame.
Okay. So
I'm for the moment I'm standing my ground though. I'm not walking towards them yet because I want to get as much time to gather thoughts as I can.
Okay. And you're just doing surface level for now?
Yeah, unless something causes me to really feel like I got to go harder.
Okay.
I guess the dwarf seems more in charge.
Yeah, you don't need an insight for that, certainly. And he is agitated, concerned, and is kind of on a like he's on a hair trigger right now. And you can see he's got a very large weapon and he doesn't seem afraid to use it.
What's the nature of the masks they're wearing?
So they are just obscuring the face. So it's like it's a full face covering mask. The two that you can see, the one the dwarf is wearing is just plain black. No adornment or anything. The one that the tiefling is wearing is it's sort of like a midnight blue, and there's it actually kind of like comes here to leave the face, the mouth visible and chin, and there's like a smattering of stars painted on it.
I will flip over to the tiefling, I guess.
Okay. The main kind of vibe you're getting is one of, this is way out of my depth. I'm not. I'm not the one who's supposed to be handling this. And you would pick up just the hint of the name Gideon.
Okay.
And sort of like relief that Gideon is there. And the dwarf looks over to you and says, "Right then,
I will
all three."
As he says right then, I will say, Gideon, you need to be more careful with the information that people are giving out if you want to be a secret society.
It's not easy to tell, but you think the eyes behind the mask squint at you. And he kind of like leans on his halberd for just a half second and says, "All three of you, down the hatch, now."
I guess, you know what I'll do? I will, I guess I know Kirox is above the door, so I'll just pat my shoulder as I'm heading in case Kirox wants to come in a less stealthy way.
Well, he yeah, scuttles on down the wall and hops onto your shoulder.
And there's a little huff from the dwarf.
And she just says, "My little friend."
Mm-hmm. Go on the stairs.
Yes.
Back over at Silvarius' his actual body, his eyes uncloud, and he looks to Cosette and Claire and says,
Well, things just got interesting.
and he growls his normal growl, and his eyes cloud back over as he goes back into Keto.
All the information he gives, just to be clear.
Yeah. What do we do with
Great.
that?
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
What does that mean? What context of interesting?
If it helps, you two would be able to see across the graveyard. You would have seen the door open. You would have seen someone at the door. Not someone you recognize.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would have seen Eska hop up and go inside and pat her shoulder as Kedox hops down on. They walk inside, the door closes, and that's when Silvaris says that. And that's where we'll end the session tonight.
Oh dear.
Sounds great.
Well,
I don't know how I thought it was gonna go. But
We really blew.
that's a fun way for it to go.
We really blew all our rolls too early, didn't we?
Yeah.
so many ones. So many ones. What was that, like almost three in a row?
It's
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
there was definitely
they got
one,
rough
and
there.
2, and then maybe another 1 on top of that.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
But it was at the great moments of espionage and
Yeah.
That's right.
not like
This is exactly why Claire didn't want to do espionage, because it always goes this way when we try to spy on people. We're not good at it.
And it's funny because like it could have gone very well.
Yep.
There were just a couple of things that caused it to not go so well.
And those couple of
You know.
things are Angie's dice.
this flea like
Angie's dice.
knocked over
Yeah.
a broom in the corner somehow.